you've been able to perfectly draft and cut out a bustier gown, you also need to know how to perfectly sew it and to snatch your waist using your zipper side. In this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you all that. And if you've been following the tutorial from the first part, you're welcome back. And if it's your first time here, you're welcome also. If you've not seen this video, I advise you to go see the first part of the tutorial. So we're going to start by cutting out our fabric on lining, and this is the front part, the side. So I'm going to be cutting it on lining exactly the way you're seeing it. You could see how I'm cutting right now, ensuring everything is aligning with the fabric we already have cut out. And this is the center part of the front area, and also cutting that out on the fabric. After we are done doing that, we just move straight to the down area. Remember, while cutting this, I folded my fabric in two. So this particular part is for the front area, which front area of the down parts of our gown, and the second part is for the back part area, which is into two because of the zipper that we have in between. So I'll go ahead and cut on lining. Remember, I added additional 2 inches while cutting on the main fabric, and I said because I want to use that to fold up the lining while sewing. So exactly now, while cutting on the lining, I'm going to be folding it up exactly the way you're seeing it. I won't include that on the lining. And for this lining, I'm using a cotton lining. You could decide to use any lining of your choice, but then my advice is, when you're making a structure dress, you're not including maybe gum stay or whatever that will make it strong or stay stiff, I advise you use a cotton lining, so it will just give your fabric a nice structure. Back to what we're cutting. This is me just trimming down the rough edges of our lining. Remember, I excluded the 2 inches from the lining. Please don't forget to like the video, and if you have any question, leave it in the comment box below. Then this is the upper part. You've seen from the style, the nets or the lace is going to be on top of the fabric, and then this is me just cutting it out. And if you look truly, you will see that I added just little inches on the net. You could also do that. I will show you exactly why I did that while sewing. So now back to the sewing parts. I'm going to be starting by joining the front parts together. So this is me joining the center part with one side of the sides together. So I'm just joining the center parts to the 2 sides we have, both the left and the right side together with the center. And then I just use pin to secure that. You could also use pin to secure yours. Another thing you could do is gumming a cloth stain on the main fabric from the wrong side, but this is totally optional. Though it's going to also help the bust area to be more firm, especially when you are not using a breast pad on your fabric. So I just remove the pin to also stitch down on the other side. Exactly this I'm doing to the main fabric, I'm also going to do that to the lining. So after I was done doing this, you take it to your pressing table and give it a nice ironing to ensure all those bubbles you're seeing there, or you iron them out very well. Then I said I'm going to be doing the same thing to the lining. I did that. And then for the upper part that is going to be having the net, so I'm going to be cutting this particular part. I'll cut it 2. So I needed 2 of these. So the reason I'm doubling this particular part is because if I turn with only the lace, the cord lace and the fabric, this Ankara fabric alone, the part I turn from the neck is going to be showing. It will be rough on the on the lace. It will be showing and it will be rough, so I don't want it to be that. So I'm going to be using the second part I'm cutting to turn it, why everything will be hidden in between the two Ankaras. So this is me just stitching the lace on one of the Ankara, and then after I did this, I didn't know my camera was not really working at this point. I placed the second Ankara on the lace, making the on the lace and stitching again on the neck, then using the Ankara. That means the lace is now in between the two Ankara, and now turn it to the back before I substitch on it like this. I didn't know my camera was really not working when I was doing this, so my lace was in between the two Ankara. Then I stop stitch. At the end, I turned it, and I have this part like this. Meanwhile, the sewing was not showing on the neck. You could see the neck is free, and at this point I just stitch round the armhole part, the down part. I just stitch it. After I stitch everything together, then I brought in the other parts of the half length to connect with the upper part, exactly the way you are seeing. Then you could see perfectly what I have there. This is the two Ankara that I used to turn that net part. And then for the part I joined after on the sweetheart neck, that's where I'm going to be connecting the lining to close up from that sweetheart neck down to the half length. So that's where I just stitch together like that, then stitch the side together exactly the way you're seeing it. Then I turned it inside out, and then please, I advise you to just, as you are sewing, just iron. But if you know you can iron after you are done sewing, and to come out well, good for you. So this is me after I've done. Then I turned it inside out. I only have the down part, which is the half length that is opened. Then I'll go ahead and stitch it together first before I bring the down part of the skirt of the gown to stitch. At this point, again, I didn't know my camera wasn't working when I was joining the down parts with the lining, and that's why after I've joined the front part together, I did the same for the back part, and I wanted a little twist by adding that drape at the front part. So I took on another fabric, on another Ankara print. I just measure, I think I have about more than 1 yard there, and then the print I have wasn't really up to the main length for the Ankara, so it depends on what you want. You can make yours shorter if you also want yours to be the same length for the Ankara print. I think Ankara print is about 45 inches length, so you could leave it like that. Depends on how lengthy you want your drape to be. So I gripped the just printed the Ankara print, the external Ankara print it on the fabric I have with my pin. I just secured it with pin exactly the way you're seeing. So that's the pin. Before I attach the back side to the main fabric, so I pinned it down like this. So I will advise you to first pin your Ankara prints or any material you're using to make that drape. Print it first on your fabric before you connect it to the back parts, and then before you also take the main body measurements. So this is me printing it on the Ankara. I think I was using 0.5 interval between the prints, then go again with another print with those 0.5 interval or spaces between them. So it depends on yours, on what you want. But if you actually make the space between them to be a bit tiny, the plating is going to come out a bit nicer than when it's wide. So I did that all through to the length I wanted to, like where I wanted the plating to stop. So you could see I started the plating on the half length sewing, just like above the half length, about 0.5 thereabouts. then I pleated it till up to my hip line, just a bit before the hip line. So I have about, I think, 10, maybe 10 inches that the pleating was occupying on the front part of the dress. Then I just pleated it also. This is something you could do. You could also like tag it, maybe use a needle and try to also tag it on the other side so that the pleating won't be scattered, and then you'll be able to iron well. So I just went ahead and arranged all this exactly the way you're seeing it on the fabric. Don't forget, I already connected my lining also to the back parts, but at this point I've not yet joined together. Then when I was connecting my lining with the back parts, I didn't click on the video until I finished sewing. I just checked. I noticed that, oh, my camera wasn't recording all the processes while I was adding the lining to the back parts, and then while I was also adding the zipper to the back parts, because I snatched waist using the zipper parts by removing about 0.5 on the center of the zipper where the zipper occupied. I'm going to be showing us this in another of my video. Because of this, I'm going to be showing us in another of my video so that we could understand perfectly what I'm saying. So my apology, I didn't know that my camera wasn't really videoing, and because I already posted the first part of this video, I just needed to do the second part. If not, I was like, I'm not going to post the second part because of some clip that got lost. But anyway, if you have any question, leave it in the comment box below. I'm going to attend to us. So this is me after I've joined it together. Then at this point I joined the shoulder together, and then the clip for the shoulder also like got lost. Like I didn't know I wasn't recording, but I have a video where I explain how to join the shoulder of a fabric, like of your sewing together, and hide the sewing part. So this is me just taking the main measurements. I first took the circumference of my bust, dividing by 2. Remember when we were cutting, we divided it by 4, but at this point I divided by 2, and I did not include any allowance whatsoever. This is me just taking the main measurement. And then on the hip line also, I took the measurement dividing by 2. Then on the down part, I just measure what I have on the hip. That means if my hip line is 40, I divided by 2, I have 20. That means on the down part, I'm going to be cutting out 18.5. And I stitch it together all through to join the back and front. And that's what I have after I was done doing that. So you could see the upper parts, and from the next side, you are not seeing any sewing rough edges. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please stick to the channel. I'm going to be posting more and more of tutorial this year. Thank you, and see you in my next video. Bye.